Hello, happy Friday. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining me from in the world. Thank you for spending time with me. Also, thank you if you watched last week, because I did not realize till after the stream that I think I was connected to my Wi-Fi and not my Ethernet. And the quality was not great. So if you persevered with me through that stream, applause for you, friends. Because I don't think that would have been an easy watch. So if there's issues with the stream quality, do let me know. I don't know what I can adjust, but I will always try. Because, yeah, as I said, I really don't know how people watched, because I watched back a little bit and I was like, oh, this is annoying. So, yeah, sorry about that. And hopefully I'm coming through clear and well this week. It was an interesting week. Howie Claus, he started the week with 2 releases, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a huge week. And then he went really quiet until today's announcement of the, is it Father Predator? I'm so bad with names, as you know. But it's okay. We've got some, I didn't put it on the thing with the InArt. Made their changes to Terminator. Maybe we'll talk about that. We will talk about Kaustic Plastic. They've launched formally their Maestro line with the Eric Draven figure from The Crow. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some Topo stuff. Topo's been doing some cool things. So we'll do that. And as I say, my bad, because I totally I forgot to put the InArt thing in the stream, but I'll quickly touch on that. So InArt, I guess, formalized the inclusions of the Terminator, because as we know from that stream, and I mean, if you missed that stream, there's really only one thing you need to know about that stream. So InArt has confirmed the second body for the figure. So you're getting a 2-pack, but despite that incident, still only 1 base, which I'm really perplexed by. That base doesn't look like anything particularly fancy or expensive, so why they won't include that when they're adding in a whole second body, I don't know. I have seen some people a bit disappointed about them not including LED light up in the head sculpt, which I thought's interesting because, you know, so many people big on the InArt. InArt is king. Long live the king. Even Hot Toys does LED light up, right? So it's interesting times that we live in. But let me see who's here in the chat. Also, my first arrival. We'll take a look at it. Not a full figure, because I don't think I'm getting a Hot Toys figure till March, but I got something I've been seeking for a while, so we'll take a quick look at that. But we'll see who's here to hang out on Friday. We've got the Toy Collector. Happy Friday, everyone. We'll have to watch the replay. Have a great stream. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the stream when you see it. We've got Paul. Hello, everybody. Hello to you, Paul. Thank you for being here. Anthony. Hi, Helen. Well done on keeping the stream for over a year. Kudos on the commitment to consistency. Well, look, I don't know how consistent I was at times, but cousin Anthony did say to me that consistency is key. And I said I'd keep Fridays alive. So it amazes me that I find stuff to talk about for 2 hours. But, I mean, you guys are a big part of that. So, I mean, if people keep watching, I'll keep turning up. And then if people stop watching, then I will retire. I guess that's how this will work. 3 to 4 month delay on the Jazz Inc. Catwoman. I hope that means we get a decent product. Yeah, the last comments I saw in the Jazz Inc. group were May. And I had been wondering about that Q1 release, because I keep saying we haven't seen a head sculpt. We haven't seen diorama bases. We haven't seen accessories. We've just seen a lot of the suit, the body, the suit fabric, which is great, all important things. But when you have SKUs with like 3 sculpts, 6 sculpts, that takes time. And given they're now doing this like a layered approach to the sculpts, there's a lot of hair that needs to be rooted. Even then, I could picture a world in which certain people get it in May and the rest of us get it later. And I don't mind. I'd rather it be delayed and be awesome than them rush it out the door and we've all paid artisan prices for something we're not happy with. So I'm with you. I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic. Gilbert is here. What's up? A lot to talk about. There is, and if I don't hit certain things, I'm sorry. I kind of do have to pick and choose. So I'm not going to be here all night. Who told you about the delay? Someone's asking Anthony. Oh, you got an email from Jazz Inc. I actually I ordered mine from Kit, so I didn't get any email. But as I said, I had seen comments in recent weeks in Yoast group saying May, and I feel like May's probably still conservative. Hot Toys Collector, damn, that means early 2027. I mean, maybe. Because I do look at vehicles and stuff going out the door, and I'm like, well, there's more to the figure, as I say, with all the SKUs that they've got. I think that's going to take some time. AJ's here, greeting Helen and friends. Hope all is going well. I'm good, AJ. Hope you are too. Hot Toys Collector says the father predator is like a huge Thanos. Fair enough. Laura's here. Good morning. Good morning to you, Laura. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you. That will still be the best ever clip in the 1/6 community. I mean, that's worth paying for StreamYard in and of itself. The fact that I can store that clip and just keep playing it to my heart's content. I don't think there's been a week I haven't played it since the infamous stream, and I can't promise I'll ever stop. Mike says, hey, everyone looks like some good topics today. Meetings again, so I'll be hanging with you as much as I can, Helen. Well, I appreciate you, Mike. I hope you're doing well. Austin's here as well. Good morning, Helen from the USA. Unfortunately, if you catch my drift, yeah. Not just the US. I think it's interesting times in the world, to be honest. It's an interesting place. Poor Arnie keeps falling over. I know, and that poor lady just keeps getting stitched up over and over again. Miss Batwoman's here. Happy Friday, Helen, Shuri, and everyone. Happy Friday to you. Keith Lee's here. I made it. Good morning, afternoon, evening. I hope all is well with everyone. Well, I hope all is well with you, Keith. Hello. Ash Chase is here, and I had wondered, because we haven't seen you in a while, Ash. I was like, is Ash going to re-emerge to talk about the Human Torch? And I have to think this is not a coincidence that you are here. So what's up to you, Ash? I hope you're doing well. I hope the Australian summer is treating you kindly. It has been very hot in Perth, but we've had a cold change, for which I'm very grateful. Mike says, agreed on the delay for Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer deserves perfection. She does. She does. And you know what would actually be perfect? I mean, not that I'm wishing this. Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. Maybe for Christmas or Christmas in July. Not that the companies work that way, but, you know, I can dream. Oh, Austin says, I think you told me you got your Batman Returns figure last week, but you're not happy with it. Oh, that's a shame. I'm still months away from getting mine, so I don't know, but I have heard people have had issues with damaging the suit when posing, which is not ideal. So I'm sorry to hear that you're not happy with it. Xiaoron is here. Good to see you, Helen. First time I can catch you in a bit. I cannot catch your streams due to work. Computer live streams are blocked in restricted mode. That's okay. Where I work is a bit the same. So I am a bit like you, that I find it hard to catch things all the time. And a lot of the streams are on when I'm typically at work. So kind of don't have that option to like listen along. So that's absolutely fine. I'm glad you could be here today. Figure it out. You see, hello, everyone just passing through to say hello, working at the moment. That's all good. I hope your Friday's going well. We've got JB as well. Afternoon, Helen and chat. Hello to you, sir. Ash says, the weather is really hot here. Lucky my room's in the North Pole. Well, I mean, I think I turned on my air conditioner on Tuesday and then turned it off like last night, which is not a bad stint, but there was I think it was Wednesday night going into Thursday, and it was still like 30 degrees Celsius at midnight. And I was like, this is rubbish. I'm not a happy camper. Not a happy camper at all. But guys, as I said, no figure arrivals yet for Helen in 2026. But I did get something very special, something that I had been seeking for a really long time. And I think I mentioned this on a stream because I was late one stream because I was busy buying this. So I want to give a big shout out to Bob Dylan, who knew I was chasing this sculpt for the longest time. And it was ironically being sold by Jackson Zhu. It's not a sculpt that Jackson's made. But Bob very diligently not only tagged me in the Facebook post, but then messaged me on Instagram to let me know that this was available. And it is JND Art. I don't know how that's the correct way to pronounce it. Liam Neeson Ra's al Ghul head sculpt. These sculpts were made quite some time ago. I want to say, I know there was a rerun in 2019, which is certainly well before I was really following any custom figure artists or whatnot. So, and I've been looking for a long time, and I saw some crazy prices out there, like 400 US, which would probably be about 700 Australian. And I got this for like around 180 Australian dollars, which is a miracle in of itself. And it's just beautiful. So I thought I'd quickly just show you guys this beautiful Liam Neeson Ra's al Ghul head sculpt. I absolutely love it. And it's quite interesting because I used to think the Mars Toys head sculpt was not too bad. And I still wonder if it's a recast of this. I just need to work out the neck connector for this. Otherwise, I would have shown you this with the full figure. But what I thought I would do, this is the before and after. And I feel like this is a pretty significant glow up. Like on the left is the Mars Toys Ninja Master, and that's the head sculpt it came with, which I have to say, compared to other third-party Ra's al Ghul figures that I've gotten, like Pop Toys, like this was looking really great. And then you get this JND sculpt, and it's like night and day. There's like no comparison. So I'm incredibly grateful to have this. So Bobby, thank you for the heads up. Jackson Zhu, I'm pretty sure you don't watch my stream, but if you do, thank you. I feel like I got an amazing deal on this. And this was a really nice thing to sort of kick off my year in collecting, because I feel like sometimes we can just make little improvements to enhance what we have. We don't always have to buy full figures and whatnot. And as I said, like just looking at this difference, like it's huge. I think it's a significant difference. AJ says, can you please send some of that summer heat my way? I'm in -16 and dropping as the day goes on. We've gone from 11 to 3 Fahrenheit since I woke up. Should be a very warm night. Oh, goodness. Goodness. We had, we had about 3 days around 40 degrees Celsius, which I feel like is 100 and something degrees. And I can do hot in the day, but when it's still like 90 Fahrenheit-ish at night, I cannot do that. I need to be able to sleep. Jaron says, I finally got my notice of my clean T800 from Hot Toys, so it may be coming soon. Well, congratulations. That's an awesome figure. Laura says, wow, what a great deal. Congrats. Thank you. It looks cool. Yeah, I liked the pictures I saw of it because Bob has this figure with this sculpt, and I was always like, this is the best Ra's al Ghul I've seen. And in person, it looks even better. So, yeah, I'm really, really happy. Keith says, not going to lie, but that old Liam Neeson Ra's al Ghul head sculpt you have looks good too. Well, this is the Mars Toys one. And as I said, Keith, I was really happy with this for a long time until I became aware of this JND version. And we all know, like, custom can be pricey. And I got lucky because even I saw one on eBay, and I think that would have cost me about $5.80 Australian to get that shipped in the country. Actually, would be more because then they'd charge me 10% GST. But as I say, this was an incredible deal. So yeah, feeling very, very lucky. Damn nice. You have a particular set of skills. I don't know about that. Mike says, that's a good Liam Neeson sculpt. The hair is all sculpted, even the facial hair. Yeah, no, it's all sculpted. It's all sculpted. They can do some great things with the sculpted hair. AJ says this sculpt is absolutely amazing. It's very tempting to me. I mean, you have to track one down. I don't even know if JNX is really doing stuff. I feel like on social media, they've not been posting a lot. They have a group, and I had tried to track one down there. I had one person respond to my request, and I think they wanted something like $400 US. And then I was like, can you send me some pictures? And they're like, oh, no, I have it at like my parents' house. And I'm like, I'm not sending you $400 US when you can't even prove that you have this sculpt. And then they were like, oh, I have all these Instagram followers and blah, blah, blah. I was like, respectfully, I do not care. I am not sending you a big ton of money when you can't even prove to me that you have this sculpt. So as I say, I feel like it's been a number of years, and this is where I feel like patience pays. You can be a patient collector. You'll eventually find the things and maybe also find them at a nice price. Winman's here. Good day, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well. So, guys, as I said, I feel like a nice start to the year for me with this head sculpt. So I'm very, very happy to have this in my collection. And, yeah, hopefully I'll work out the right neck connector for it on the weekend, and then that'll be a nice upgrade. Austin says the Hot Toys Batman Returns need to be recalled. There's several complaints about the suit peeling. Oh, okay, I'd heard about cracking, not peeling. That's unfortunate. Congrats on getting this. Thank you. Something's flown over my head. I get the Taken reference. Yeah, I have not seen Taken. You're all shocked. I know. Have not seen Taken. Apologies, but also not apologies. Definitely not apologies. My channel members, big thank you. Just want to take a moment to shout out my paid channel members. So the Broke Collector, AJ Gruser, Pop Culture Living Room, Kevin LaFranc, Aaron Broverman, Tijuana Mike, Keith Lee, Valkyrie Magnus, Ms. Batwoman, Bob Dylan, and Blue Tattoo. Thank you. From me and little Shuri, we appreciate you. Guys, I know it's 2026, but where on earth is William Wang? No one knows. So we keep the PSA until people realize this is not a place to buy for. Avoid the website. This guy has taken the money and run. If you've ordered anything with him, 112% guarantee you're not getting it. And I think I mentioned last week that there's been some rumors swirling that he may be re-emerging with a business partner, which is a worry. So if new companies suddenly pop up, due diligence, stick with trusted sellers. Some of the websites I see people asking, oh, is this reliable? And it's like, I've literally never heard of this website. So yeah, as I say, I know for me, I have my handful of trusted retailers, and that's who I'm buying from. I'm not risking it, particularly not with pre-orders that are years away, and who knows what will happen. People used to say, William, great guy, stand-up guy, what a great guy, great deals. Now where is he? No one knows. No one knows. Did you see the Absolute Batman figure from weeks ago? Did you like that? I had not caught some of the replays this month. I did. I thought it was interesting. I understand it's from a pretty new comic run. Not for me, but I like Hot Toys doing comic things. I've said for the longest time I wish they would have tackled Batman the animated series. But no, I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting figure. It looks really nice. So yeah, if it's of interest to you, it looks cool. The Wang missing man, yeah. He's done a runner. I received the Batman Returns figure, but after seeing all the comments, I'm too scared to take it out of the box. Oh, that's a shame. That figure is still like around 2 months from releasing in Australia. Like the Australian retailer's website updated this week, and yeah, the shipping date is the 31st of March. So I don't know. It's kind of the blessing and the curse of being in Australia, and I think getting later batch figures is that, yes, you're waiting, but then sometimes they have dealt with issues by the time you get your product. So I really don't know what to think about this. I also know I'm probably not going to pose mine a whole lot. So I know that's not an excuse. A figure that's new should not have peeling or cracking or all these issues. Like Hot Toys has done a few Batman figures now. So I don't really know what's happening with that returns figure. And it's such a shame because I saw that when it released in Hong Kong, and I obviously didn't get to handle it because it was that secret base, but it looked beautiful. Like it looked like an amazing figure. I've been so excited to get it. So yeah, I'm a bit not sure what to think and feel about what people are saying about it. It is a bit of a it's not great. It's not great. AJ said I ordered mine from Pop Culture too, so it's going to be a bit here as well. Yeah, as I say, AJ, they updated the arrival to the 31st of March, which is a shame. I was hoping it might have snuck into the January batch, but I have people saying, like, in the US that they're only just getting it from Sideshow, so I guess it stands to reason that it's going to take us a little bit of time. So if it's earlier, great. If it's not, we wait. What can we do? Bobby Dillon. Nicest guy in collecting. Bob, you just missed. You missed me talking about the sculpt. Shame. But thank you again for concierging me to the sculpt. I absolutely love it. But Bob Dillon, nicest guy in collecting, has gifted 26 scale Shiro memberships. Is he bankrolling this channel? 100% he is. Appreciate you, Bob. Thank you very much. And congrats to everyone who got gifted a channel membership. You can watch cute videos of Shuri. What else would you rather do? Ash got yellow and brown Wolverine plus Kidpool. Yeah, I saw they had the yellow and brown Wolverine. And I think they just got in like Wednesday and the David Corrin Sweat Superman and a few other figures like that. Just nothing that's on Helen's wish list, sadly. Bob fathering once again. It's all he knows how to do. Actually, you're getting the Human Torch. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but keen to know if you are picking that one up. But yeah, Bob's going to Bob. And good thing Bob's here because I want to take a moment to talk about Topo because they did a couple things this week. One is an Old Man Logan, which looks pretty cool. And there's a couple of Old Man Logan figures rolling around at the moment. So Topo gives you an option to get it with the head sculpt or without. The only retailer I've seen it listed with at the moment is 1/6 Kit. So I don't know if anybody else is getting that. But I just want to take a moment to talk about the absolute smorgasbord of John Wick suits that Topo is bringing out. So this week, they dropped legitimately 5 John Wick suits. And I was not mad about it because World of John Wick, in for a penny, in for a pound. So these first 2 that I have on screen here, they're already pre-ordered. So the one on the left is the TP033B. That's with a black suit and a black shirt. I'm going to use that for a John Wick 3 look, which I'm quite excited about. And then on the right here, it's the TP033D. This is that John Wick 2 suit. So they had done a similar 3-piece suit like this in the past, but it was all black and the vest didn't have that sort of collar on it. Because if you look at the suit he wears in John Wick 2, it's got that collar. So I'm quite happy that they've given this a go. I'm a little bit bummed that they haven't done the type-in because I feel like that is one of my favorite features of this suit. So I'm hoping maybe that's something that they amend with time because I know Kento did this recently. And did I buy that? Yes. And that had the type-in. So I'm hoping, I know I left some comments. If you agree, tell Topo we want to type in. But I think they both look really nice. So I've got these on pre-order. They're slated to release in Q1, which is a pretty quick turnaround. So I guess they've had these in the works for a while. And then there's versions of these with the navy blue. So I know Bob had, I think, spoken to the costume designer of John Wick 2. And I think he had said that I always get this wrong. Was it that the shirt was navy blue, but it looked black on screen? I can't remember, but I know Bob knows all the things about this. And then these are the 3 additional suits that you can get. So the A version of this suit is that same suit, but with a navy blue shirt. And then these two suits on the end remind me of I think it was the TP-009, which was what I was previously using for John Wick. And that has like a more normal vest, so no collar. And you've got the option to get that with a navy blue or a black shirt. So I think it's really cool that they're giving you all these SKUs. You can, of course, get Topo shirts loose, which I think is really great. So again, on 1/6 Kit, not sponsored, but a fan. They have loose Topo shirts. So I'm pretty sure they have white, blue, the navy blue, black, and I want to say green. So if you love John Wick, if you want to kit bash some John Wick, these are here. I'm guessing that this 33B could also be a ballerina John Wick, I feel, as well. I don't know if Bobby's still here, but maybe that could double, because I feel like he wears that, because in that teaser Hot Toys showed us with the artisan ballerina, I feel like this is the suit he had him in. But anyway, Hot Toys, will they do it when they do it? I don't know. I'm still going to buy these Topo suits because I love them and I think they're pretty great. So I just thought I would give people a bit of heads up if they're so interested. If Howie Claus wants to 2.0 John Wick Chapter 2, I won't be mad about that either. Anthony says, Sugar Daddy Bobby D. Thank you. Ash is getting Human Torch. I won that figure on a stream last year. Oh, lucky you. I don't see Chris Evans, but sometimes I don't see what everyone else does, and I'm left wondering if I have face blindness. Look, I went on quite an adventure with that sculpt, but we'll talk about that soonish. So yeah, it was I went on quite an adventure and my view kind of changed, but also kind of didn't, which is really vague. So welcome to my stream. I'm vague. Guys, this week's announcement from Howie Claus. Father Predator from Predator Badlands. Do I know anything about this? Absolutely not. Welcome to my world. I don't watch a lot of movies. I do. I'm just very picky about what I watch. So this was announced, and of course we did get Deck and Thea from Predator Badlands. There's a couple of other Predator figures that were announced. Was it the Samurai Predator that was also announced and or released late last year? And another one, I've got a little clip on my YouTube channel of the display that they had in Hong Kong at I-Square showing the sort of newer Predator figures. So this was not what I was expecting this week, but hey, this is what Howard gave us. And look, it looks interesting to me. I think a lot of these Predator figures, I think, have looked visually interesting to me. I know people get upset about, I'm going to say it probably wrong, is it the jowls? Like, people get upset about jowls at times, it's an interesting world we live in. I'm not going to lie, the unmasked sculpt, when they show close-up pictures of that, looks pretty creepy to me. I don't think I'd want that in my house. This is probably unpopular opinion. I get Shredder vibes, which I'm not mad about. I think Shredder's awesome. So, look, visually interesting. This looks like it's a pretty big, imposing figure. You've got a few swap-out options for display, which I think is always really nice. This is the unmasked sculpt, which, as I say, when they show close-ups of these unmasked sculpts, I really do get taken aback because it's a lot. And I mean, are the jowls in the right spot? I don't know, but I feel like this sculpt has a lot of detail. It's visually quite interesting. It's cool, but like a lot of things, it's cool, but it's not for me. So what are we getting with our Badlands Predator, Father Predator? Oh, mandibles. Apologies. I was calling them jowls. I don't know where I got that word from. But yes, mandibles. People get upset about the mandibles. This has interchangeable mandibles, so hopefully that makes people happy. You've got the separate rolling eyes, which is what we've come to expect. You've got the mask, which you can display on the figure. You've got blood-painted wrist blades with 2 display options. We like options. Options are cool. And then we've got a bit of a close-up of some of the details. He comes with a sword. Quite a big base. That reminds me of like the big rectangular base you get with a figure like Thanos. So it gives you a sense of how big this figure is. And then some swap-out hands. So this is here if you so desire. I don't really know if Predator Badlands, how critically acclaimed it is. I know when I posted my clip of Dec and Thea, I seemed to get really mixed comments from people as to what they thought, not only about the figure, but about the movie. So if you've seen it, let me know. What did you think about the movie? Does this interest you at all, or are you getting Dec and Thea? I do wonder, because sometimes when these franchises get newer installments, people don't always like them as much as the originals. So keen to know what you guys all think. Ramstein's found here. Howdy, Helen, Shuri, Ash, and the rest of the chat. Well, how did she? Shuri? Oh my God, she just walked in. You probably can't see her in the corner. Shuri? You going to say hello? That was a nice meow, but you're going to come up and say hello? You know, yesterday, you can see a bit of her tail. Yesterday was Shuri's official gotcha day. Shuri's been with me for 4 years and 1 day. Haven't you? Yeah. You going to come say hello? Or are you going to think about it? Okay. You do you, Shuri. You do you. Big Daddy Bob, were you here when I was talking about the Topo suits? I think you're jumping in and out. That's fair enough. You have stuff to do. This looks really cool, but I don't need Dad. That's fair enough. This looks badass. Sorry for the pun. That's fine. Thank you, Keith. Jaws equals mandibles. Yeah, I don't always get the terminology right. I see a tail. Yeah, I know. It was a beautiful little magnificent tail, but she just, I don't know, Shuri. She's an enigma wrapped in a riddle. You're back. She's doing her favorite thing where she runs in, she meows expressively, she rolls around on the ground, and then she goes back out. And I wish I knew what drove this behavior in her when I stream, but I don't know. Austin is giving me another warning about the Batman Returns. Oh, the utility belt had peeling. Okay, that's not good. I thought there was issues with the suit getting dented. Okay, that's a worry. As I said, I'm hoping you can get a replacement if yours is damaged, but I'm still a couple months away from getting mine, so I guess I just have to wait to see what I get. But yeah, that's not a great situation for anyone to be with in, so I'm sorry to hear that's happening. I love Shuri. I mean, she carries this channel. Where are you going? Excuse me? What? You just have a lot to say to me. All right, see you, kiddo. Oh, Shuri. She's an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Just like Howie Claws. Just like Howie Claws. So we'll move on because I can't say much about Predator. What can I say? Not a lot. So then, release number 1, Scorched Xenomorph. And look, I have to say, I think this looks really cool. Do I know a lot about Alien? No, I know as much about it as I know about Predator, but I thought this was really impressive looking, and I don't know that I saw anybody not loving it, so I'm hoping this is a release that is popular. I think it's from the newer Alien Romulus. Is that correct? Do I know what I'm talking about? Maybe not. But I was really impressed, and particularly, like, this photo, this looks like a still from the movie to me, and I think, is there a higher compliment we can give a figure than saying it looks like a still from the movie? Because that's what this looks like to me. I was like, this looks impressive. This was another one that when they showed the super close-up photos of the face, I was a bit like, whoa, this is freaky. This is a lot. So I think there's a really great level of detail. I think if you're an Alien fan, like, surely this is going to be something you're interested in. I think they've got, is it Rain, which is the companion piece to this, also from, I'm thinking it's Alien Romulus. So yeah, I think this just looks really great. Like, as I said, if you're an Alien fan, like, I don't really know what you wouldn't like about this. Because as I said, I was flicking through the blogger photos and this 100% stood out to me because I was like, you could think this was from the movie. It's very impressive. Miss Batwoman says, Shuri's telling you it's time to go to bed and stop talking to people online. Use your words, Helen. Oh, absolutely. Like, we have a routine. Shuri's very much a creature of routine. So there is probably a part of her that's like, come on, gotta go to sleep. But not on Fridays, Shuri. On Fridays, the routine is different. But yeah, it's funny because she comes in and Shuri doesn't meow a lot. She doesn't really speak a lot. She's not a vocal cat. So it's quite funny when she does come in, few meows, rolls around, and then zoomies out. She's not really a big cat for zoomies either. So I don't know what it is that gets into her on a Friday. I think it's just the excitement of the stream. Windman says this alien looks amazing. I agree. Ash says this is awesome. Not for me, but for a lot of collectors. Yeah, I think so too. I think there's a lot of love for Alien. AJ says, I'm really excited to get both this and the Rain figure. Oh, cool. They did a great job with this Xeno. I have a few fun ideas too. I bet you could do some really cool stuff with this figure. I just think it looks super impressive. I really like it. Mike says, sorry about the late comment work. That Father Predator looks really great. I just watched Badlands for the first time last weekend. I enjoyed it, but I understand that tonally it's very different. Oh, interesting. Because I did have a couple people comment that they thought it was boring. And I was like, oh, really? Like, I wouldn't have thought people would make that comment on a Predator movie. But, I mean, I also haven't watched any of them. So what would I know, really? What would I know? But fair enough. Yeah, guys, the Xenomorph looks good. And I included this picture without the background because I feel like you could see a little bit more of the detail there. As I said, I was really impressed with this. I thought it looked really nice. So I didn't see any negativity. So hopefully this is a something that goes into the W column for Hot Toys. And I don't think it happens often where something doesn't get some negative comments. Or maybe I was in a bubble this week and just didn't see them. But as I said, to me, I think it looks really nice. If that's your thing, totally not my thing. Some beautiful blogger pics of the Xenomorph, 100%. As I said, this one in particular, I think was my favorite. Like, this is, yeah, when they nail it, those blogger pictures can be just amazing. Like, seriously, I absolutely loved this one. Got some very cool stuff. Mike says, I thought it was worth a watch. Unfortunately, I'm ahead of you on this one in terms of watching something. That's okay. It's funny. I had downloaded Alien on Disney Plus to watch on my last trip to Hong Kong, and I just didn't get to it. I actually don't think I watched any TV or anything when I was in Hong Kong. And I never circled back to it. So I would like to see the first one. So yeah, I would like to see the first one. Jaron says, I have Scorched Alien figure on PO and already have several people ask me if I'm going to sell him. Oh, goodness. Why would you want to sell him? You haven't even got him yet. Keith says, you can also tell when the bloggers are having fun photographing a figure. This is one of them. It's quite interesting, Keith, because I mean, I would love to know, like, 'cause, like, they get the figures for free. I know that much. But, like, do they get everything, or do they get offered, or do they have to nominate? Because I've noticed with some figures, you won't get a lot of variety of how many bloggers have submitted photos, because a lot of them do put their little watermarks on them, and fair enough. Because I feel like with some figures, you're like, oh my God, there's like got to be 7 or 8 bloggers that have contributed photos to this. And then some other releases, you're like, oh, there's maybe 2 or 3. So I would love to know if they get a call out and go, yep, I want to do it, or if Hot Toys just sends certain ones to certain people. I don't know. I'd love to know though. Sharon says, no, it's a running gag on me because I sell a lot of figures. Oh, okay. This is because I got Wednesday as FOMO and ended up selling her sealed after she came and didn't fit my collection. Oh, okay. It's funny. There's a collector that's a bit like that in Perth, and whenever he would buy something, and if I wanted it, I would like wait because I knew in a week or two he would list it on Facebook Marketplace. And that's how I got my Bane 1.0. He bought it. He posted a bunch of pictures, and then like a week later he listed it. And I was like, well, I know this is a week old, so thank you. I think I bought something else from him, maybe my DX11. But yeah, it was quite funny. Raymond is here. Raymond, I think you got Human Torch, did you not? Did I see you posting on Facebook? Because if so, you're here at the perfect time because I'm about to talk about Human Torch. And as I said, I feel like I saw you got yours in hand. So it would be amazing if my memory is serving me correctly to have someone feeding in that has the figure because that's super quick. But regardless, Raymond says, hi, Helen, good afternoon. This Scorched Xenomorph is already candidate for Figure of the Year release in 2026. Really stunning. Can't wait to get him. Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. And I mean, as I said, I feel like it's very rare nowadays to get a figure without some kind of negativity. And I don't feel like I've really seen anyone have anything bad to say about this. So that's got to be a win, right? Give me 2 ticks and we'll talk about Mr. Human Torch. I'm back. Hello. Raymond says, correct. I got the Human Torch figure. Loved it despite the head sculpt not being accurate to Chris Evans. Interesting you say that. So I did run a poll on Instagram because when this was announced, I had some thoughts, I had some feelings, but I said, let's put a poll out on Instagram. And I had about 50 people respond, so thank you. And I said, do you think this looks like Chris Evans? And 60% said no. 40% said yes. So interesting. I also did a post on Facebook on YouTube, and again, some interesting points of view from people on what they thought about it. Mike says, I've been in and out of work and didn't realize I was gifted a membership from Bob. Thanks, Bob Dylan. He's the nicest guy in collecting. Raymond says, came in late to the stream. I was picking up XM Studios quarter scale Swamp Thing statue. Oh, that must be quite a big piece. Congratulations. I hope you love it. Will people love Human Torch? I don't know, but let's talk about Human Torch. A figure that is quite divisive. And do you know what's funny? As I look at this picture, that bottom half of the sculpt feels Chris Evansy. And I think this is a very interesting sculpt because there's times, and I think if there was an Iron Man figure recently, and I want to say it's a Mark 6, but maybe it wasn't. And that came out and everybody hated on the head sculpt. And then I know people who got it in person that were like, no, this head sculpt's really good. It's just hard to get it to look good in photos, which sounds bizarre, but I know that to be true. There's some head sculpts where when you look at it, amazing. When you try to take a photo of it, you're like, oh God, what is going on here? And I wonder if this might be part of it with this. So I'll be really interested to hear people's first-hand views, but we've already got a first-hand view from Raymond, which is fantastic. So again, loved it despite the head sculpt not being accurate to Chris Evans. So let's talk about this for a second. A look at the head sculpt here. And I have to be honest, I was looking through the blogger photos, and some angles I saw it, and other angles I was like, this still looks like David Beckham. My overwhelming first impression of the announcement photos was this is a beautiful David Beckham head sculpt. So in this one, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm seeing it a little bit. I know Deadpool's here going, who's this guy? Fair play. We don't know Deadpool. I still see David Beckham. Like these photos on the edges, I see David Beckham. I feel like the photos I saw looking up, so from a downward angled up shooting into the sculpt, they're the ones where I felt like I started to see Chris Evans. Like this photo in the middle, I'm like, I feel like I'm starting to see Chris Evans. We'll talk more about the head sculpt, but I will say, I know some people also have been feeling like the proportions are perhaps a bit out of whack. He does look a little bit top heavy. I still think there's some things to like about this. You've got the cloak, you've got the magnetic flame effects that you can put on the figure, you've got the flame base that you can display him with. So like, I feel like you're still getting some cool stuff with this. But I know the head sculpt sells the figure 100%. I will never debate that. So I can understand where there's been a little bit of disappointment from some people. Because as I said to you, there's some angles where I can see him and there's some angles where I can't. So as I said, I do feel like it's coming with some nice accessories. The benefit of a cloth outfit like this is always going to be posability. You can probably do some really cool things with this Human Torch figure, which is always a plus. But this is where it got interesting because this photo on the left is the original sculpt they showed us with the announcement, the one that I thought looked like David Beckham. And I don't know if this is my mind playing tricks on me, but when I put this photo next to the new photo, I felt like I started to see the Chris Evans resemblance more. Call me crazy, but I think we can see there's definitely been a lot of changes to this head sculpt. It's not as sort of dirty looking. I feel like it's definitely not as wrinkled. Like the face has changed considerably. So it's quite interesting. Like Hot Toys has obviously done a lot to this figure. But as I said, in my poll, and appreciate small sample size of 50 people, 60% still said they don't think this looks like Chris Evans. And I will pose the question to you. Maybe this can be our audience participation question of the week. Is this Human Torch figure the weakest figure from the Deadpool and Wolverine line? Because I think we have to agree, the Deadpool and Wolverine line have had some fantastic figures. Those Wolverine figures, I think, are incredible. I would say 10 out of 10. X-23, I think, is a fantastic figure. We've had the different versions of Deadpool. They've all been great. We've had Nice Pool, Kid Pool. Like, it feels like everything that's come out to date from that line has been at an amazing quality. And this one, I don't feel like people have been as divisive about a figure from this line as they have about the Human Torch. So I'm keen to know whether you're watching me live or in the replay, is this the weakest figure from the Deadpool and Wolverine line? But as I said, I thought it was so interesting that once I put these side to side, I was like, oh, I think I see the likeness more now. I'm sure Cousin Anthony will come and tell me some psychological reason why that is or what my brain is thinking. And Cousin Anthony, if you're watching, do tell me if I'm under some Chris Evans Howie Claw spell, because I'd love to know. But we'll leave this up for a while. We'll catch up on the chat and what you guys are thinking, because I can see there's quite a few comments here. Laura says, I get glimpses of Chris Evans from certain angles. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Mike says, I'm really surprised at how badly Hot Toys crapped the bed on this one. I mean, it's like Hot Toys didn't watch the movie. Completely wrong head sculpt, costume, you name it. I mean, is it me? I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the proportions a bit. I don't know that I really have a problem with the outfit as such. I think for me, it's always been the sculpt. Ramstein fans laughing at me because it looks like David Beckham. It totally looks like David Beckham. Mike sees Electra. Bless your heart, Mike. Ash says, I think it looks fine. Dr. No is here. G'day, Shuri, Helen, and fellow collectors. Apologies for being late. Never apologize. Glad you could make it. I hope your Friday's doing well. Raymond says, in hand, it's much closer to Chris Evans than any pictures have shown. And this, yeah, I'm so glad you said that, Raymond, because as I said, I feel like that happens with certain head sculpts. And I wish I could remember which Iron Man it was. Was it like a Mark 6 or a Mark 5 that came out last year? And everyone was like, oh my God, that head sculpt is terrible. And then everyone I know who actually got that figure was like, oh my God, like this in person actually looks amazing. So I don't know. Miss Batwoman says, Hot Toys struggles with the likeness of Chris Evans for whatever reason. I've seen better head sculpts from third-party companies. I didn't mind the Endgame one, to be honest. I thought the Endgame one was pretty good. But, I mean, I would have thought that given how many goes they've had at it, we wouldn't see such a step back. Because I look at things like Black Widow, great example. I feel like every time they've done that, it's gotten better to the point where with that artisan version, it's an amazing likeness. So, yeah, it's a bit odd for them to take a step back, but then also I'm thinking I feel like they kind of did that with Margot Robbie. Not that I think they've ever really nailed that sculpt, but yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes they just can't get certain likenesses. So Ramstein fan saying he doesn't like how they cleaned him up. I love how rugged and dirty he looked in the prototype, but they cleaned up after they reworked. I mean, maybe that's why he looked like David Beckham. He was too rugged. Bobby's along the same lines. They've done so many Evans sculpt. This should have been a slam dunk. I can't argue with that. Akira says, I don't agree when people say it looks nothing like Chris Evans. To me, the likeness is probably a 7. So not perfect, but not terrible. Probably better in person. Look, I have to say, like, it's improved. Is it there? No. But you can't deny they've gone back to the drawing board and tried to work on this. And as I said, I found it interesting that when I dug up the promo picture and I put it side by side, I was like, oh, I'm seeing the likeness in the production version a lot more now, which I wasn't expecting when I put them side by side. Dream and Visions is here dropping me another batch. So batch to you too. Raymond says, though I personally didn't need it to be fully Chris Evans, I was looking for companion piece to Doctor Doom, and I wanted a comic first to Fox Fantastic Four movies inspired Human Torch. It's interesting because I feel like I can't remember how long ago it was. I feel like it was when we were still doing Collectors Unite. I feel like a third-party company did do a Human Torch, but I feel like it didn't have the Chris Evans head sculpt. I feel like it was just the fire head, I'm going to call it. I feel like that happened. Maybe I'm wrong. Helen, they won't know who that is. Oh, what did I say? I don't know what I said. Apologies. It comes out of my mouth and it's gone. Renz is here. Hello, Renz. A Zac Efron human Scorched. Oh. Zac Efron, you say. Raymond says the shoulders look a bit weird out of the box, but nothing you can't fix with posing. Posing can fix a few things. That's very true. Ramstein fan says this one is great. I see Chris Evans. I just don't like that they cleaned him up after they reworked him. I love the rugged look from the prototype. That is fair enough. Raymond says the flame effects are amazing though. The cloak is a bit like Darth Revan, which I totally know what you mean, Dark Revan. Which is a bit too poofy and hard to arrange around the neck. So easy choice to leave it in the box. Well, I was going to joke, if people didn't like the head sculpt, you can just hide it with the cloak, but I figured people wouldn't appreciate that sentiment. I can certainly see a bit of Beckham in there. Bless you, Winman, because he is there. Mike says, in all seriousness, though, I think this guy can now definitely pass for a member of the Evans family. Yeah, maybe like a second cousin, Christian Evans. Don't forget, hit that like button. I mean, thank you, Dr. No, because have I mentioned that in 54 minutes of streaming? No. And I've got 45 people in the chat. Hopefully I have 45 likes. I don't know. StreamYard doesn't tell me. But if you're here and if you're enjoying the chat, hit the like button. It's free. Little Shuri appreciates it. Maybe subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate that. For now, hell yes. I'm guessing this is to my question of is this the weakest figure from the Deadpool and Wolverine line? I'm guessing that is what you are saying hell yes to. Chris has a more longer, narrow face. Hot Toys keeps trying to make his face wide and short. Maybe onto something there. Ash says Deadpool Wolverine line has been 10 out of 10 so far. Well, people don't agree with you about this one, but I agree. It's been such a strong line, and I think that's probably part of the disappointment for people because the baseline has just been so high for that line that I think everybody hoped this would get revised, and it's great that it did, but the fact that it's still not there for a lot of people, it is a shame. Anthony says they changed the sculpt a lot. I do slightly see more Chris Evans in the new one, but still feel it's off. I'm a bit the same. Hot Toys Collector does not like the open mouth. I'm still surprised this isn't cancelled. I don't know that they'd cancel something from the Deadpool and Wolverine line. Sharon says, I just watched Justin's review of the Scorched Xenomorph. His light-up base did not work. Hopefully not an issue for a lot of people. I was going to say something, but I won't. Mike says, Helen, my terrible humour was made worse by the character limit in the chat. I was trying to say this looks nothing like Elektra. Oh, okay. I was a bit like, oh, as Mike OD'd on the orange chocolate. I didn't know what was going on there. AJ says, yeah, young Mark Hamill is one they kind of struggle with. They are getting better, but not amazing. Oh, I mean, you'd hope, because, I mean, look at John Wick. Like, they have gotten so much better over time with Keanu. And goodness, they've made so many Captain America figures. You've got, like, the first Avenger, Winter Soldier. We'd had the strike suit. You had the civilian Steve Rogers. You had the Golden Age. You had Civil War. You had 4 Avengers movies. You had the comic concept version. So I feel like you've got the 2012 Avengers version as well as the Endgame. Like, that's got to be at least 10 Chris Evans figures that they've done. So it's a bit alarming that they've had around 10 goes and it's still not there. Austin says hello. Well, hello, Austin. How are you? Uncarded Review says doesn't look anything like Chris Evans, more like Luke Evans. It's definitely missing the mark on looking like Chris Evans. Helen, people are thinking of Captain America and it's Human Torch, not Cap. So I see the confusion. I mean, I don't know that the face is there in parts. I don't know. Helen, I'm glad you didn't give Deadpool or Wolverine anything below a 10, especially Deadpool or Ash would be throwing fits right now. I mean, he's on the other side of the country. It's fine. I'm safe. FYI to OD on orange chocolate is bliss, not cause to get angry. I mean, it's all subjective. Say it, Helen, say it. Speak the truth and shame the devil. Oh, look. It's interesting that some people will point out flaws with some companies' figures and not others. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I'll get in trouble otherwise. And I'm just happy in my little YouTube bubble. I don't want to get involved in drama. So this is another side-by-side comparison where, again, on the left, we've got the original sculpt and on the right, the revised sculpt. And as I said, I feel like for me, that sort of upwards looking shot of the sculpt is where I feel like I was seeing Chris Evans the most. I think, as I said, in some photos, I was like, I kind of get it. And in other photos, I was like, I do not see it. So an interesting release from Hot Toys. As I said, we always hope when we don't like something that they'll revise it. But it may not still always get there. So it is a bit of a bummer. But I am keen to know, as I said, if you're watching live or in the chat, is this the weakest figure from the Deadpool and Wolverine line? I have to think it is at this stage. I really do. Do I have any more photos of this? I do have some more photos of this. As I said, I do think, you know, you're getting some cool accessories. It's a very posable figure. And as I say, if you agree with me that that angle looking up is where he gets the likeness looking the strongest, you can definitely use that flame effect to elevate him. Like, I do really love that option to have him standing in the flame. And it's interesting because the flame they did for the new Johnny Storm figure, it feels like that was very pointed, and I don't know if that will sit as flat and be as easy to use in a display as this. But as I said, I think it's quite an interesting looking figure. I think there's some awesome accessories, these magnetic flame effects, the flame base. You can do some interesting stuff with this. So where am I up to? It's almost like for the prototype, they didn't have the Chris Evans likeness rights and his contract with Marvel expired with Endgame. I don't know, but it reminds me a bit of the Batfleck figure from The Flash. And that did not have a great likeness to Batfleck. And Lord knows, like, the 2.0 figures they did, was it from Justice League? Looked really great. So what happened with that Flash figure? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with that one. Oh, Uncarded reviews. It looks a lot softer now, which is something any guy never wants to hear. Austin is warning us about the Batman Returns figure. Yeah, Austin, as I said, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope if your figure has problems that you can do something to get that rectified. Let's hope they don't mess up Blade. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would be upset if they did. That said, Ash, I don't know if you saw that So-So Toys Blade. I thought that came out really well. So, yeah, pretty good. You're laughing. I don't know, because I feel like there's a delay. So sometimes when I read comments, I don't know what they're in relation to. But if I've made you laugh, amazing. If Hot Toys messes up Blade, we're right. I mean, as I said, I can really, I can understand there being a very strong reaction if they mess up that Blade figure. Oh, the soft comment. Well, that was Uncarded reviews. That was not Helen. So Human Torch, as I say, it's an interesting release. Definitely got us talking. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see. I think we're around a month away from Chinese New Year. It's a little bit later this year. And I still feel like we're going to get something big before then, whether that's an artisan figure or something else. We shall see. I think we must be in the window for Blade as well. I think we're also in the window for Nice Paul. And I think, is that then everything that they've announced from Deadpool and Wolverine? I don't think we are waiting on anything else after those figures. So I have to think we're getting towards the end of it, which is interesting. But also, you know, Hot Toys has done pretty well. You think about it. This movie was, what, 18 months ago? So given how long they have taken to do some lines, like that's not pretty bad. That's not bad. That's not pretty bad. That's not bad. Use your words. Oh, Raymond put himself on the wait list for the Siberian Customs Blade. That looks incredible. That looks fantastic. I know it's not a cheap acquisition. But I think for those characters that you love and are important to you, I can totally understand going down the custom route. I've ordered myself a John Woo Heath Ledger Joker head sculpt, which will hopefully I get this year. Hopefully. And that cost a bomb, and I have no regrets. I just can't wait to get it because it is the best Heath Ledger Joker sculpt I've ever seen. I'm really excited to get it. Uncarded Review says, I have the So-So Blade, Present Toys Blade, the Siberian Customs Blade is on the way as well. Well, sounds like you're quite the fan. Austin saying he'll probably try to get his money back on the Batman Returns figure. Hopefully my second one will be better. Well, as I say, Austin, sometimes this is the benefit of later batches that they fix some of these issues. I think of the Batman Begins 2.0, like the batch we got in Australia, didn't have the issue of the suit being shiny. The Deadpool 1 figure, the issue they had with the cuff of the suit fraying, that was resolved. So it's kind of that it's not ideal a situation to be in, but sometimes getting those early batches, while it's nice to get it before everyone else, sometimes there's issues and they get fixed for later batches, but not necessarily in those early batches. So it is what it is. Oh, yeah, they're making a quarter scale blade, Siberian Customs. They hate to think of the price. Yeah, I mean, that will definitely be up there. I just finished the line, just waiting for them now. That is fair enough, Ash. The Crow. Eric Draven, the Crow. It's not even midnight yet. I'm already losing my words. This is a worry. Kaustic Plastic. I don't have any Kaustic Plastic figures. You're all shocked. I'm keen to know if any of you do. What is your experience? How do you like them? I feel like it was perhaps last year when they floated this idea of the Maestro line and they talked about certain IPs they got. I know there was the Crow. I think there was Conan the Barbarian. And I feel like there was one more, which I've forgotten, so apologies. But I remember there was sort of 3 IPs they talked about. And ever since then, we've kind of been waiting to see more about the Maestro, however you want to pronounce it, line. Eric Draven, the Crow. Look, I loved this movie when I was a teenager. Did I skip school to go see the Crow movie? Yes, I did. Did I have any regrets? Absolutely not. So yeah, teenage me really loved this movie, and it was quite interesting. I was listening to Storytime with Helen. I was listening to this interesting podcast, and it's called What Went Wrong, and it's a podcast about movies, and every episode they focus on a movie and they kind of tell the story about what went wrong. And it's really quite interesting because you come to realize that making a movie is a challenge, but then making something which is hugely successful or critically acclaimed is even more difficult. And this week I listened to the episode they did about The Crow, which was a really interesting listen, but also really sad because, of course, Brandon Lee, gone far too young. And they even talked to a sort of weapons expert who explained all these really unfortunate little things that built up and the chain reaction that led to that accident on set, which, yeah, sounds like it could have totally been avoidable, but sadly we are where we are. But this movie was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I never really watched any of the sequels because for me, I was like, it's not Brandon Lee. I don't want to watch it. So I am quite interested in this Crow. I don't know that I'm going to get it. I don't really have a place for standalone figures like this, but I was saying to Bob that given there's talk of Bruce Lee figures being made by InArt, you could do a father-son display, which I think would be kind of cool. If you had a nice seamless Bruce Lee and then a Brandon Lee Crow, like that might be a really cool display that you could have. Let's talk about the Crow, shall we? So 4 SKUs, so there's a lot to talk about, and I will run through what the different SKUs have. So the standard figure has sculpted hair. There's a lot to like about this figure. We're talking like genuine leather. I'm pretty sure the sword is like a real metal blade. They've used some really top quality materials. I will say, though, that the sculpted hair, and maybe this is not the right word, to me, in some of these photos falls a bit flat. I think we've seen with Hot Toys, they've been getting some really great detail into sculpted hair. And when I looked at the photos of the sculpt with the sculpted hair, I felt like they were, I think, a step back from what we are probably coming to expect from sculpted hair, because I think the improvement over the last few years of the amount of detail they're getting in is a lot. And I even think of like the Heath Ledger Joker, the DX33, all the sort of individual curly strands. For me, this feels like it's a bit flat and blocky in parts, which is a shame because, as I said, I think the rest of the figure, there is absolutely a lot to love about it. So the other 3 SKUs, which are Deluxe, Deluxe Gold, and Exclusive, you are getting a rooted head sculpt. They're promoting Tibetan lamb's wool? And I was like, oh my God, if we're going to now debate over, oh, that wool hair's not from Tibet, I might be done. Like, I can't get into that kind of a nuance. But I'm looking at this rooted hair, and I do think these sculpts with the rooted hair look very impressive. This photo in particular really captured me, and I was seriously thinking to myself, if they can pull off this rooted hair in production and have it looking this nice and without QC issues, I think that's going to be a pretty big mic drop debut for the Maestro line. As I said, there's so much to like about this figure. I seriously, and I love that it's a different IP that's not been done to death. So you know what? Kaustic Plastic, for not redoing what everyone else has done, you get some applause. Man, that was not your kettle or bacon. As I said, I love to see people doing new IPs, different IPs. I think Hot Toys did this figure a long, long time ago. So it being revisited and being given a modern makeover, I'm totally down with. It's not something that Hot Toys did 2 years ago and we're sitting here going, oh, great, now this company's doing their spin on it. So I think it looks really great. As I said, I was going through and looking at all the details you get with it, the diorama, the different accessories. I just think it looks brilliant. I really do. And to know that you're getting a leather outfit, like, and this figure, you know, the price tag, particularly if you're getting to that exclusive figure, like, it's creeping up there. But I think this is the thing. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like collectors are more willing to drop a little bit of a higher price tag if they're getting those premium quality materials. Like, you're giving us real leather, you're not giving us pleather, you're not giving us something that's going to crack and flake with time. So I think it's super impressive. There was so many pictures to go through. You've got a lot of different looks for him. You've got the chair. You've got, with certain additions, you get this diorama backdrop. You've got the crow itself, which is really cool. So many cool accessories. So, yeah, as I said, I feel like Kaustic Plastic, this is a really strong debut for the Maestro line. And as I said, these are some of the accessories you get with the sort of exclusive editions. You get the tombstones, a bit morbid, but that is the whole, you know, that's where the story comes from. As I mentioned, you've got the crow, you've got the diorama backdrop, and we've got the measurements there. So it's around 40 centimeters high by 31 centimeters wide and 20 centimeters deep. So I think that height might be a little bit squishy for a DTOF. I don't know if you would get that into a DTOF, but as I say, I really like the look of this diorama. I think it's fantastic. And so many accessories. As I said, I think they've really done a great job of giving you all the key things that you would expect to see. So we've got quite an interesting display base there, magnetic. Interesting that InArt's gone away with magnetic and then everyone else has gone towards it. You've got the guitar, you've got the gun, you've got the, would you call it a sword or a katana, the crow, a whole bunch of hands, and the chair, which I think is fantastic. And this is the thing, being real leather, I think you would not feel worried about seating the crow figure in the chair. Because if it was pleather, I absolutely would not do that. And then they talk about just some of the features of the Maestro line. So they say handmade production, limited edition. The rooted hair is the Tibetan lamb fur, and that's for the deluxe, deluxe gold, and exclusive versions. Real leather outfits, as we've talked about. Real metal blades, magnetic stand, deluxe diorama, deluxe box art. What's not to like about that, everyone? And then I thought this was quite interesting as well, because when they've talked about the head sculpt, they've talked about the eyes that they're using. And this is another picture where I'm like, this could be a photo of a person. To me, this could be a photo of Brandon Lee. So they've talked about their, I think it's RCES, Real Crystal Eye System, is Kaustic Plastic's proprietary eye technology developed to push realism to the next level in 1/6 scale action figures, thanks to specifically engineered structure. The RCES accurately recreates depth, transparency, and the natural curvature of the human eye, delivering an unprecedented lifelike gaze. The result is a striking visual realism that brings each character closer to reality. I think these eyes look really cool. Like, seriously, I think this sculpt looks really good. If the production version is like this, I think it's exciting times, seriously. We'll go into the SKUs in a minute, but let me catch up on the chat. Let's see what you guys have had to say. Winman says, I don't have any Kaustic Plastic figures, but I've ordered the exclusive version of this from Sideshow. I originally missed the exclusive, but my waitlist converted in about an hour. 2 dioramas and a chair. Yes, please. Oh, in for a penny, in for a pound. Nice. Dr. No says, congratulations to the Kaustic Plastic team. This is an amazing release. I have one figure from them. I highly recommend it. Oh, that's interesting. Is the artist named Dario who's worked on this? Like, I've heard people say very good things about him. I don't have any of his work or anything from Kaustic Plastic, but as I say, if they can deliver on what looks like a really great prototype, I think it's happy days. Crow looks amazing, contender for best third-party figure. I think it's licensed, Anthony. I'm pretty sure Kaustic Plastic has the license for this Conan. I forget what the third IP was. They announced it last year when they said, we're doing this Maestro line. This is our top of the top. And they had 3 IPs that they announced. And I cannot for the life of me. Labyrinth. It was Labyrinth. I knew it would come to me. I'm pretty sure it was Labyrinth, The Crow, and Conan the Barbarian. But I'm pretty sure these are licensed because they're using the logo, the character name, but I'm pretty sure they did an announcement and it was those 3 IPs that they said that they had. One moment. And I think we've always said, like, there's so many IPs that haven't been done or haven't touched for a while. So I'm happy to see Kaustic Plastic do something different. Seriously. Dr. No says the father-son display is exactly what I was thinking. Spooky, but both are portraying their last film performance. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, I loved this movie. I think this looks great. But I was going, what would I display it with? And then part of me is like, InArt Bruce Lee. And I was like, oh my God, I said I wouldn't start any new lines. But this looks so nice, guys. King Dingaling is here. Hello all. Wild fact of The Crow. John Wick director was the body double that completed the Crow movie, Chad Stahelski. And that was in the podcast I was listening to, King Dingaling. They talked about, so the podcast was called What Went Wrong, and they kind of talked about the fact that production shut down and they were going to shelve the movie and how Brandon Lee's fiance was a real big pusher of, like, this needing to be released. And I remember they talked about that because when they said Chad Stahelski, I was like, why do I know that name? And then they're like, John Wick. And I was like, that's why I know that name. Because that was the thing. Like, they had most of the shots they needed. There was just a few things they needed to fill in the gap. And then, yeah, Chad did that. So, as I said, if you want to hear more about The Crow and the making of it, and even the story of the man who wrote the comic was a really interesting story as well, and how that kind of inspired the story of The Crow. Really good podcast episode. I really listened to that. Real collectors know that Tibetan wool makes the best fake hair. We should put that on a bumper sticker or a t-shirt, Winman. Uncarded Review says, here's my hot take. Kaustic Plastic is overrated. I mean, they make some interesting and eclectic figures, but to be honest, they really aren't much better than an average custom figure. But I mean, do average and custom figure go together? That would be an interesting debate. I don't know. I think this looks fantastic. Me too. The chair photo gave me goosebumps. Seriously. This looks so good. This looks so good. At least they included the standard base with the exclusive. Hot Toys was ever going to do that. 100%. I think it's great. You can use the chair. You've got the magnetic base if you want to use that. I do love that. Windman says, yeah, a single detail shelf, sadly, is 15 inches and the window diorama is 15.9. Yeah, I thought it was a bit. I feel like they're around 38 centimeters. So when I saw 40, I was like, I don't think that's going to work. Dagito is here. Hi, Helen. Well, hello to you. Happy Friday. Windman's also backing me up. Kaustic Plastic does licensed figure. Thank you. I knew I wasn't making that up. AJ as well, they're fully licensed, especially with Sideshow carrying them. And that's what I would have thought, because Sideshow, they're not dabbling in no third party, because that will make Howie Claus upset. So, yeah, if Sideshow's selling something, it should definitely be licensed. David Bowie from Labyrinth. Yeah, I remember stuff eventually. I couldn't remember, but I remembered when they talked about this Maestro line that there was three IPs they had, and I always remember Conan and The Crow and Labyrinth. Just never sticks in my head, but I got there eventually. Sometimes I remember. Valkyrie's here. Hi, Helen. Hello to you. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Windman says, as far as Chad Stelensky, if you've not seen the John Wick documentary, it's an amazing must-watch. And Chad talks about Brandon working out of his facility. It covers all the Wick films, by the way. John Wick documentary? Tell me more. Where does one watch the John Wick documentary? I'll be getting the basic rooted version. Look, Dr. No, I think the rooted version is the way to go. As I was saying, this sculpted version to me just feels like it falls a little bit flat. I don't think there's quite the level of detail that you get. Like, I compare that to like the DX33, which has that kind of messy curly hair, and there's so much detail in that. And this to me just doesn't feel like it has the same level of detail. But this rooted hair, it looks nice. It looks really nice. As I say, this photo just, it puts me in the movie. It puts me in the movie. Oh, it's called Wick is Pain. I'm writing that down because I want to watch the Wick documentary. Wick is Pain. Thank you kindly. Sorry, you probably just heard me slam my pen onto the desk. AJ says, I have some shelf adjusters for my detolfs. If this is something I was interested in, I could make it work. I did it to fit some Lord of the Rings dios and life-size Grogu in. Are they called U-bolts? I remember there was a clip I've seen people using the detolf to raise them up. Or some people just take out a shelf, or sometimes you can get like a half acrylic, like a half shelf. I know Stony Stands, is that still what it's called? He does those half shelves, but you could probably find somewhere like local to you that does like a half shelf, and then that would give it the room to poke up the back. I don't know. Sterling's Fine Arts. Hi, Helen. Well, hello to you. The Crow looks amazing. People are never going to be satisfied. Well, I mean, as I've said, if this comes out as good as this rooted one in particular looks, then I don't know if anybody's ever going to be happy, because I think it's looking incredible going through these photos. I love it. You can have him just with the ripped shirt. You can have him with the long leather jacket. So many display options. We love display options, right? As I said, these are the bonus, because this is the thing, him standing with that diorama in the background, I just think you probably don't even need a companion piece for this. Like, if you just had him in the diorama with the crow, that's a scene in and of itself. Look at me trying to talk myself into buying this. Accessories, as we mentioned, the eyes we talked about. So we'll go through the 4 different SKUs, and I've got prices in all the currencies, all the major currencies, because it's an international stream. We don't just talk about freedom bucks, we talk about many currencies. So the standard edition, which is the one that comes with the sculpted hair, you still get rolling eyes, which is nice. So they're still giving you rolling eyes with the sculpted hair. You've got 13 interchangeable hands. You've got the boots, which are magnetic. You've got real leather pants and coat. You've got the black shirt. You've got the ring with the neck strap. You've got the katana, the shotgun, the flying crow, the electric guitar, even a real leather shoulder strap on the guitar, which is amazing. The ancient red chair and the magnetic stand. So even for this standard edition, you are getting quite a bit. So this standard edition, I don't know why Kaustic Plastic's website's defaults to euros. So they have this at 310 euros, which converts to 364 US, 269 Great British pounds, and 531 Australian dollars. So that is what the standard edition will set you back. Then the deluxe edition, and this is where we start getting the rooted hair. So the head sculpt with this is coming with the rooted hair. You're getting the rollable eyes, the hands, magnetic boots, the real leather outfit, the black shirt. So you're getting everything you are getting with the standard, but then you're getting that rooted head sculpt. And to be honest, the price difference for the rooted hair sculpt feels pretty reasonable to me, given how much you would pay to get a sculpt rooted. So for deluxe, you're looking at 392 euro, 460 US dollars, 340 Great British pounds, and 671 Australian dollar dues. And then we get into the deluxe gold edition. So this is where we're getting everything from what we got before, but then you're getting additional accessories, which are the white mask, you're getting the perched crow, you're getting the bouquet, you're getting the diorama with the graves, which are magnetic, and the magnetic stand. So there's the flying crow, which I think you're getting with all of them, but then with this one, you're getting the perched one. So deluxe gold, which is what I've seen a couple people say on Instagram they were going to get, that one is 475 euros, which is 558 US dollars, 412 Great British pounds, and 813 Australian dollars. So then we've got the exclusive edition, and this is another photo which is just incredible to me. Some of these photos they look like a person. It's incredible. So the exclusive edition, which I believe is limited to 500 worldwide. So you are getting everything that was mentioned with the gold. But I think you're getting some other stuff. So we get head sculpt with rollable eyes, rooted hair, the hands, the magnetic boots, the real leather outfit, black shirt, the neck with the ring strap. I think it's the big diorama. This big window diorama is the big additional thing that you're getting. It ain't cheap, but if you love this movie, so this exclusive edition limited to 500 is 655 euros, which is 769 US dollars, 568 Great British pounds, and 1,121 dollar dues. It ain't cheap in Australia. It ain't cheap being a collector in Australia, but it looks so good, I have to say. It looks incredible. Let me have a look if what you guys are saying. Oh, Historian Artwork's back. Hi, Helen. This is a day one purchase if there ever was one. I mean, 14-year-old Helen is trying to talk much older Helen into buying this. It's very tempting. AJ says they are like 3D printed things that screw on and have a shelf that sticks out and holds the glass. There's $12 I've probably made, and you get 16 in a pack. Oh, okay. You've got a 3D printed thing. I used to see, I thought they were called U-bolts. Maybe that's just what Aussie collectors have been using. Used to be something people talked about a lot when detolfs were like the go-to cabinets. So yeah, there's always a way. There's always a way. Dr. No says, I was expecting the price to be higher. Very happy. Also, if you're upfront with Kaustic Plastic, you get a 10% off discount. Oh, really? Does their price include shipping? I realized that is something I did not look into. So I'm guessing not. So I've got no idea how much shipping would be to Australia, particularly if we've got big dioramas involved. I wonder if pop culture is getting this. Maybe they are. If Sideshow's getting it, maybe pop culture's getting it too. Mr. Dingling's also sharing the documentary name. Thank you. I'm going to go look that up on the weekend. Long weekend in Australia, so I got time. Winman says, as the SKUs go up, you get everything from the previous SKU. Exclusive includes everything. I'm drooling. There's some amazing stuff in the set. There is. Oh, that was not for me. Winman says, yes, U-bolts are still in use, but I would be afraid to sit the glass shelved on metal U-bolt without padding. Yeah, I guess that's true, metal and glass. I have never adjusted the shelves on my detolfs, but I remember with quarter scale figures and whatnot, people started adjusting the heights of their shelves. And I've seen some pretty cool displays where even I remember one Aussie collector, I think they had 3 detolfs, and what they had done is they'd taken out the middle shelf of each detolf and they'd put the quarter scale Dark Knight trilogy figures in the middle, and then all the 6 scale figures were in the sort of top and bottom shelves, and it looked really cool. And I almost did my display like that, but then I got this cabinet, so lol. Ace McLeod, hello. I have nothing against this figure. However, this IP is currently not popular, nor is it trending, so it's a hard sell. No movie or show will help promote this. Look, I know for me, I never really watched any of the sequels because I was like, this is Brandon Lee and he's not around. I still think the original movie was pretty popular. I think you're probably also going to have people that were fans of the comic. I don't know how limited the other SKUs are. Maybe it's a case of Kaustic Plastic, like the exclusive is 500 and then they just make what they make of what orders they get of the other SKUs. But I know this thing is like 30 years old. I still have interest in it. I still have some interest in it. Shipping will be charged on release. Okay, so shipping would be a whole other expensive ball game for Helen. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. Two seconds. I'm surprised to say we're at the end of the slides, which was really surprising to me because I thought this would be a really long stream with all we had to talk about. But here we are. Speaking of detolfs, I saw some YouTube videos of a gal who turned her detolfs on their side and used them for hamster habitats. It was a really cool use of them. I've seen those too. I did wonder how structurally sound that is, because I don't know that they're the thickest glass. Then again, hamsters are not that heavy, but I remember seeing collectors pose that question of, oh, could I lay them on their side? I was like, I would not. I would not want to do that. Absolutely not. As much as I prefer a glass cabinet, I think that I wouldn't be laying them on their side. Let me just pull up. We talked about them a little bit at the start, but let me find InArt's official post about the Terminator. Because I think I put that on the list of things we were going to talk about, and then did I put it in the slides? No, I didn't. What was I doing? So let's share. Are we seeing it? There we go. Hooray. So we all know that stream, the infamous stream. I think it was in December now. And there was a lot of, it includes this, it includes that. No, it doesn't. It's 2 head sculpts. Is it 3 head sculpts? Whatnot. So many weeks later, we finally got an official update. So updates to InArt Terminator 1 T800 1/6 scale collectible figure. I love this. Since launch, we've received incredible feedback. Incredible. From our collectors worldwide, following in-depth internal discussions and collaborative efforts with our licensing partner, we've made several key updates to further elevate the T800. What's new? You're getting a fully battle-damaged, fully articulated body. You're getting battle-damaged pants and battle-damaged boots. These enhancements allow the figure to better capture the iconic battle-worn presence of the T800. So now the updated list of what you're getting. You're getting 2 bodies, 2 head sculpts with articulated eyes, but as we discussed earlier, no LED light up. You're getting interchangeable forearm. You're getting clothing accessories, so 2 shirts, jackets, pants, boots, battle damaged and clean, and the jacket is real leather, I believe. You're getting 11 interchangeable hands, 6 accessories, 1 base, and 1 metal support stand. Thank you for your continued support and invaluable feedback. Your passion drives us to continue to refine the art of premium collectibles. We hope you're as excited for these upgrades as we are, and that this provides collectors with the ultimate Terminator collectible. Look. 1 base is ridiculous. Like, you have not changed the price and you've given people an extra body, an extra pair of pants, an extra pair of boots. There is nothing particularly fancy about this display base. Throw that in, or as I've said, if you really can't afford to, make it available to buy a second one. I don't, like, I've never bought a 2-pack, and I'm thinking Hot Toys 2-packs, like genuine 2-packs where it's 2 figures and 2 bodies, not like the DX1 where it was a second separate outfit, that does not have 2 display stands. That to me just feels like a little bit of silly buggers, as we like to say in Australia. It's interesting. I did see a lot of people still upset about the sculpt not being LED light up. I know some people still not loving how dark the hair is. I'm a bit the same. Like, the sculpt looks the best with the glasses on, which I don't think's great. And I like, InArt's done some nice sculpts, don't get me wrong. Like, I really love their Snape. The Lord of the Rings figures have all looked, and the Hobbit figures have all looked pretty solid. But for me, the Wonder Woman, the Anne Hathaway Catwoman, and this are just lacking a little something. So I'm keen to know, because I know Arnie has a lot of fans. Who's getting this? How do you feel? Do you agree that 1 base is a little bit ridiculous? Keith, no. Oh, yeah. Lol. The Bright Collector's here. Hello, my foundation and oldest channel member. Just looked on Pop Culture and the Artisan Widow is $681 US, so everything the Crow comes with is great value. Yeah, and that's one of my criticisms of the Artisan line, the Bright Collector, is some of them don't come with a lot of accessories, particularly if you don't get the special edition of the Black Widow. So the special edition obviously has the Iron Man, we call it a repulsor arm. But if you get that standard one, it doesn't come with a lot. If you get the Scarlet Witch, really, her only accessory is a diorama display base. Like, it really doesn't come with anything. So you are getting a lot with it, 100%. Like, I think, like, Kaustic Plastic is like, that's a nice set. As I said, the sculpted hair, I think, is a little bit behind what I would expect, but the rooted hair looks nice. All the accessories, it looks super cool. Hot Toys Collector says, still 1 base. That's the funniest part. I agree. I totally agree. There is a new press release from InArt today. They said since everyone is complaining about one base, they've cancelled the base altogether. So now we just get figures. They say, shut up. God, did they make that poor young lady do it? Do a stream about it? They wouldn't do that because all they've had is incredible feedback. Incredible feedback. Base cost about $3 for them to include. I don't even know if it's that much. Like, manufacturing in China, super cheap. So this is what gets me. Like, when people talk about InArt slugged me, six scale shills said 75 Great British pounds for a replacement body. That's wild. That's wild. You're not. That's not how much you're paying in China. I know when I was in Hong Kong, I would see bodies anywhere from like 30 Hong Kong dollars up, like the equivalent of $10 Australian I was seeing bodies for, depending on the quality. So don't tell me $150 Australian. That's just absolutely wild. Display base is bland, needs a diorama base. I agree. I think if you had this alongside a diorama, I'd go, okay, one being a bit bland is fine, but this is just unacceptable. I'm joking. No, I knew you were joking. It's all good. It's all good. I have the Hot Toys one, so I'm fine. I think both of the 2.0s Hot Toys did last year looked incredible to me. Historian Artwork says, not getting it for the bases. I don't always use the base. I'm surprised the hair isn't rooted, though. Are you sure you don't want to use the base?
The earlier you... Whoa.
I want to use the base. Surprised the hair isn't rooted, though. I mean, I think the hair's just way too dark. The other thing I thought was interesting, I don't know if anybody else saw these posts where people talked about the stand, crotch grabber, whatever you want to call it, that InArt has for their bases. Some people are saying it has grease on it. Like, why are they complicating the works? Just have a plastic crotch grabber. Why are you putting little, like, screw adjustment things with grease? Like, nobody wants to get grease on their figure, particularly when so many of their figures have cloth outfits. I don't understand why that's a thing. JB says getting InArt T800. Agreed, a double base for both figures would be better. As I said, if you're so pushed for price, you can't include it. Give people an option to buy a second one. That's what I would do. You've got the InArt shop, put it up, and maybe even say to people, if you order in the pre-order window, you'll get a little discount, but make it available. I just think it's outrageous to me that you're getting one stand. This InArt Terminator looks like trash. Oh, not even close likeness. Look, it's funny. I did a big deep dive on this, and, you know, for me, a lot of people were saying that Hot Toys T2 sculpts were amazing, 10 out of 10, and I agree. I thought they looked really good. The InArt one, I don't know. To me, doesn't feel like Arnie. It looks older. Some people thought I was being too harsh, but I just didn't see it. I just didn't think I just don't think the Wonder Woman, the Catwoman, and this Arnie, they feel like a step back to me compared to the quality of other sculpts that they have done. Dr. No says, I bought the Terminator direct from InArt with a 4% off code. I cannot complain as I get two figures for £305. That's fair enough. That's not for me. Throw in a phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range and you can have the base. I don't think you're getting that. Enjoying the clip. More enjoying the clip. That falling Terminator is a future representation of InArt. Well, you said it, not me. Won't be using the base provided. We'll have to mod the figure to add magnets on the feet. I find it really interesting that they were so gung-ho on the magnets, debating people about the magnets, and now they don't want to use the magnets. And I still, it's interesting because I was talking to cousin Anthony about the JND Joker. He has that figure. And he was saying to me that the JND has 2 magnets that are loose, but they're so strong that when you put the figure on the base, the magnets are drawn in and it holds it into place and it's super secure. So I don't understand why InArt then did this rail system and all this stuff they did to overcomplicate it, but I don't get why you couldn't have some kind of a hybrid solution, like have the magnets for people who want it and then have the crotch grabber for people who want it. Because we've seen with, you know, some of those, even the Hot Toys diorama bases they've done, like I think of like the DX33 Joker, you've got that little street diorama and you've got a little part you can pull out and you can put the crotch grabber there if you want, or if not, you plug that piece back in and it looks like a solid stand. I just think it would be so easy to have a little piece that plugs in, and it's even the same with the Mojing toys. The Osaka Continental diorama I have has the wooden base, has a little cutout, and I can take that out to put in the clear acrylic rod for the crotch grabber, or if I don't want to use it, I can just pop that piece back in and it looks pretty seamless. So I don't get why you just go so the other way. It's interesting. I'm 100% sure that when this ships or when it's ready, they'll magically say we're including another base, as boring as it is. Well, I mean, I'd hope so, but I mean, I don't get what there is to gain by doing it so late. Like, why not just do it now while the pre-order window is open? I don't know. This looks like a job for a 3D printer, and Dr. Knows and love Dr. Knows idea, definitely magnets. Oh my God, I'm losing my words. I'm losing my words. Okay. So we talked about the InArt. I fulfilled my obligation there. As I mentioned, I got my first arrival. We'll quickly look at that again for anyone who missed it. I was able to track down, thanks to Bob Dylan, the JNX Ra's al Ghul sculpt. It's quite an old one now, but an oldie but a goodie. And I'm really excited to have this. I can't wait to get it on my figure there. This thing is just beautiful. Look at that. Look at that figure head sculpt. He looks so good. Such a huge upgrade. So my Mars Toys Ra's al Ghul is going to get a glow up. I don't know when I'm getting my next figure. I think it ironically will be Batman Returns. If you know, you know. And funnily enough, I've got a custom cape from Kelly Studios that I ordered. That's probably going to arrive from 1/6 kit next week. So I will probably have that 2 months before I have the actual figure, which is interesting. It is what it is, right? Doesn't InArt usually under-promise and over-deliver? I don't believe that to be true, but maybe I'm wrong. Those are awesome, Helen. How much was the Ra's head? Let me get my I'll get my other photos back up. I just have to. This is the before and after. So on the left is the original Mars toy sculpt, and on the right is my new JNX sculpt. So I don't know how much it sold for originally because, as I say, this was a custom run of head sculpts that was done, and then there was a second run done in 2019. Everywhere I saw it was, which granted was not in a lot of places. I know one person had it as $400 US, and I think there's one on eBay that would have cost me more than $600 Australian. And then I got lucky that Jackson Zhu listed one for, I think I paid something like 180 Australian dollars, which is an absolute steal. And Bob saw the post. He knew I was trying to track one of these down, and he very diligently tagged me across multiple social media channels so I would see it and get it. So yeah, to get a custom sculpt of this quality for like around 180 Australian dollars, I think it was 125 US. is an absolute steal. And as I said before, I thought this Mars toy sculpt was really nice. I actually have wondered at times if it's a recast of this JNX. But just this, like the paint application, the sculpt, the details. Like I've seen a few people have had a go at like doing a Raz sculpt, and this has just been by far and away the best one I had seen. And then even in person, it's even better than I expected. So yeah, I'm really, really happy to have this. I just need to find the right neck connector so I can have it securely in place, and then I can futz around with this suit to get it looking perfect. So yeah, I'm super happy. InArt not using magnets feels like a childish tantrum. Other companies like Kaustic Plastic can do it well. I mean, I've had my Artisan Black Widow on the magnetic base for, I want to say, a month now. And she's been pretty rock solid. So, breaking news, another InArt press release. Each Terminator base will come with a tube of crazy glue so you can reliably attach Arnold to the base. Well, better than blue tack, because they had blue tack on it, but that didn't help.
The earlier you, the whoa,
blue tack is not enough. You versus the guy she said don't worry about. It's a little bit like that. It's a little bit like that. Everybody loves the InArt clip. Everybody loves the InArt clip. Some people probably don't love the InArt clip. It's fine. It keeps me amused on a Friday night. But guys, on that note, while it is still Friday night by 5 minutes, I'm going to sign off. We can say goodbye to Raz. He's a very beautiful man, very beautiful head sculpt. Very excited to have it. So thank you for coming to hang out with me. I don't know if Ash is still in the chat, but happy Australia Day. I know I feel like that's now controversial to say, but I'm going to say it. I'm glad I live in Australia. I'm very proud to be Australian. I don't like that the days become so political, but that's why we're having a long weekend. So happy Australia Day to you, Ash. Happy Australia Day to any other Aussies that may be watching. A long weekend is very, very exciting. Play it again. I mean, it's a stream of the people. So if that's what you want.
The earlier you, the whoa.
My heart breaks for that woman every time. She got. Does she even work for InArt? They didn't even tell us who she was. Who was she? Dr. No says, thank you, Helen. I always appreciate your streams. Well, thank you. I always appreciate your company. I appreciate everyone's company. Paul says, take care, collectors. Historian artwork. Thank you, Helen. Have a good weekend. You too. I get an extra day. So excited. But Miss Batwoman's here. Thanks for the fun stream. Have a good weekend, everyone. I'm sorry we didn't get more of Miss Shuri. I was hoping that she might have made a little bit of a cameo, but Lasai. My Japanese friend thought blue tack was chewing gum and tried to eat it. Oh, that would have tasted gross. On the way out, hit the like button. It's free. There's about 45 people, 46. Do I have 46 likes? I hope so. Poor Arnie, I've fallen and I can't get up. No, I think Arnie needs a hip replacement after all that. Oz Day's Monday. I know, but it's Australian long weekend and I'm not streaming again between now and then, so I'm getting in early. The sound of the head bouncing kills me every time. Yeah. And I love that the cameraman goes to the empty space rather than moving towards her and trying to focus on the one figure they have. It's amazing. Have a great weekend, Helen. Thank you very much, Valkyrie. Happy Australia Day. Thank you. As I said, I still say it. Some people don't. Happy Australia Day, friend. You too. Do your holiday. I will. The tennis is on at the moment, so I get a day to watch tennis, which probably sounds nerdy, but is something I enjoy. Guys, thank you for joining me. As I said, hit the like button on the way out. If you're watching on the replay, thank you. Let me know what you think. Keen to know, is the Human Torch the weakest figure from the Deadpool Wolverine line? That was our audience participation question today. But I'll be back next Friday, same time, same place, maybe even with little Shuri, and I'll see you then.